With 22 minutes to the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for still choosing Morning at NTV to journey on with information. I am Priscilla Regina Naloga, flipping the page to our Tech Note, where we're going to be looking at digital rights for girls and women. And of course, technology and internet being a great enabler for girls and women. The backbone of it is that digital gender divide has been recognized as one of the challenges to achieving gender equality, in particular regarding the fourth industrial revolution, as it does continue to increase the pace of change for information and communication technologies. Now, societies are becoming increasingly dependent on digital technology. Girls and women, their broader communities, national economies are at risk of losing out on the positive promise of a full participation in digital economies. That being said, the internet can be a tremendous force for equality and opportunity, but the huge gender digital divide does prevent girls and women especially from enjoying the full benefit of technology. When you look at the statistics, men are 21% more likely to be online than women, rising to 52% in the world's latest developed countries. Now, we're going to be joined by experts in this conversation from government and another stakeholder that are going to give us the better understanding of digital rights, especially in line with girls and women. To my immediate left, we do have an ICT senior officer and the intellectual property specialist, and from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and that is Miss Shirley. You're most welcome and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. And then we are joined by Counsellor Peninah, who's also here to give us the legal perspectives for this conversation. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Priscilla. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you too. Let me start with you, Counsellor. When we talk about digital rights, we are already hearing digital rights, rights generally, left, right and center, human rights here and there. So what makes digital rights different? What are they? What are the responsibilities entailed in there? And what are their importance?
Okay, so in my legal trade, a lot of the times the law is associated with it being complicated, but I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. So just like the way we would want to enjoy our human rights, I think everyone understands what human rights are. We'd want to enjoy them offline. Once we go online, there are certain rights that we also need or have to enjoy, and that is what is known as digital rights. Okay. So any privilege, any freedom that you experience when you're online is what we would term as digital rights. Now, when it comes to digital rights, it's broken down into things like freedom of expression. You go online, you can post, you can write blogs, you can put them up, and at the same time, people can enjoy, your content. These days, we're in the era of content creation. But at the same time, as you freely express yourself, it has to be obviously within the law. You can't infringe on another person's rights, another person's digital rights, because you're enjoying yours. Now, when you put up your information out there, digital rights also entail you having your privacy protected, right? So as you put up your information, we on this side who are consuming it need to respect your information and whatever you put out there. Basically, what I'm saying is that you let us see what you want us to see, and we cannot go over and above and infringe on your privacy because we want to get much more of what you're offering us. Then there's also, under digital rights, we have digital literacy. It's important that as we are enjoying these rights, everyone gets to know about these rights. Just like I know them here in Uganda, my grandmother in the village there should be able to know some of the rights and privileges that she should enjoy from just having technology. It could be just a smartphone, a basic smartphone that you got her to be able to WhatsApp video with her. Okay. At the same time, also awareness is also key when it comes to digital rights. Everybody has to be aware about it, and this will help ensure that we don't have breaches. You should be aware about your digital rights. Shirley should know about her digital rights. I should, and everyone else. So that in case there's a problem, in case there's an infringement, you're able to know where to go and report.
Okay. Talk to me about examples, because, we hear the words, but an example would be best fitted for one to understand that, okay, as I'm expressing myself, then there's the privacy element of it, and then, of course, the literacy side of it.
Okay. So I'll give an example. You have a picture, and you put up your picture, you took your picture, you look nice, you believe everyone should see how nice you looked
even
that
in
day.
the photo angle.
Exactly, photo angle. So you've put up your picture, and then somebody in the comments decides to just post something that is mean. And under digital rights, we call that hate speech. In the digital rights arena, that is known as hate speech. Now, the problem with that is just one spark can cause a fire. Someone starting off with just that mean statement, infringing on your privacy, going on to say, or even saying, oh, but that's not how you used to look years ago, and then post another picture in comparison, you're infringing on my digital rights. And because of that, I may end up pulling back and not enjoying the space that you are enjoying in a mean way. I may decide to hold back, get mentally stressed out, and not even go online again. And yet, ideally, everyone should be able to enjoy the space online, just like the way we are expected to enjoy the space offline.
Okay.
Yes.
Shirley, why is it important now more than ever to have a focus on girls and women when we're talking about digital rights?
Yeah, I think, of course, yesterday would be better, but we start now, and we are advocating for more awareness, because we believe that women and girls should not be left behind while we are, utilizing digital platforms and digital devices. So we are talking about, as we advocate for digitization, and as we are moving towards further into the fourth industrial revolution, we're saying that women have, and girls have as much roles to play as men within our communities. So we do not want to miss out on the innovativeness of the women, because we believe that collectively we can all contribute to the economic development. So while we are encouraging women to utilize the devices to go out online and put their innovations out there to get market and improve their livelihoods, we are saying that they should not be discouraged. We've seen cases of, I'll use, for example, musicians who try to put their products out there, and women are more attacked. They are more harassed online, and they are more prone to cyber harassment and online violence, gender-based violence. So we want to advocate more for the women, but as well provide with them the tools that can enable them protect themselves while they're using these digital platforms. So we encourage them to be cyber ready, and as well provide the different tools that they can utilize to protect themselves while they are navigating the digital landscape.
Okay.
Tools like...
yes, because I was going to ask, you say tools, but could you be specific? What are these tools?
What tools? Yeah. So while we are navigating the digital landscape, we have platforms that have been put in place. Enable is currently coming up with a digital online platform that is a go-to place for individuals who have had issues to do with, who have been infringed on their rights. Can they utilize those platforms so that they can get help? But then also, apart from that, while we are training these ladies, we encourage them to use blockers on websites, can then review their privacy settings, and then different tools. On phones, for example, can you use the two-factor authentication so that you are not prone to being infringed on and violated online. But then also, we encourage them not to share information about if it's the password. Can you not let your password share your password information with your friends? And further to that, we encourage the women to share information in a way that is more mindful. So so that you do not you do not increase,
you do not provoke.
You do not provoke. Thank you so much for that. So that is what we are advocating for. So digital literacy currently is more than just giving you a device, a computer, and teaching you to type and use Microsoft Office, Word, and all those platforms, but what more can you do with your device? Yeah.
All right. Pulling out my device and applying the two-factor authentication. But as I do that, privacy is very important in this discussion. It is where really safety comes from. And in regards to safety and security of women and girls by far in terms of privacy and personal data protection conversation, it's a key concern to have active participation of girls and women in the digital space. So it begs the question, in Uganda specifically, Council Peninah, what are the challenges that we have to privacy and safety as well as security of girls and women in the digital space?
Yes. I think first things first, what has led to that and what has led to the challenges is the fact that we need to first acknowledge that there's a gap. There's a gap between both men and women, boys and girls. And this gap is informed by a lot of things like social, cultural norms. Number one, the society that we live in. From the word go, women have always had the back seat when it comes to the digital space and digital conversations, and I may not go into why. But one of the main challenges that we have when women finally take that step to go online, learn online, communicate online, is cyber harassment. That has been a very big issue in Uganda. We have had celebrities coming out there and saying that yes, we are celebrities, but there's a certain space that we need. We need to be able to enjoy our families without having to have someone, you know, just basically on our
trolling
on them.
These days.
Then also, I'd like to say that a law that is adequate is one that can be enforced. We really have a lovely data protection. We have the data protection and privacy laws, you know, the computer misuse laws, but at the end of the day, when it comes to enforcement, when it comes to implementation of these beautiful laws that have been set, we will need to do much more work. Of course, we know there are offices like the National Information Technology Authority, Uganda, NITAU, that has worked. They have a data privacy office that is particular in making sure that people understand and are aware about their data protections and awareness. And it is important that these are offices that are actually made use of. Now, Uganda is a very innovative country. We have tech gurus coming up with all sorts of platforms and apps, but the question is, are they being regulated? Are they being watched? A lot of people are putting their information on these platforms and at the end of the day end up in the wrong hands.
All right, glad the regulator is here and hearing this conversation. As we wrap up this conversation, there's Enable Uganda and the digital work that they're doing in terms of digital rights for girls and women. It begs the question, how can we create a sustainable environment so that every girl in Uganda can be able to be a beneficiary?
Well, I think like the conversation we were having earlier about having collaborative efforts, Enable has tried to reach out to as wide as the nation as possible, because they have work in the western, the northern, the eastern, and the central part of the country. And they're working with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance to ensure that they are coming up with different programs to do digital rights awareness. In the recent past, last month, we were coming up with a digital rights manual, and I believe that this is going to be a very key tool to extend, to reach out to as many women and girls out there as possible. And they're also involving men. It's important to have men within these conversations, so that when we are advocating for digital rights and general rights for women and girls, are the men aware of which rights are there into place, so that they're not left behind. There is always the conversation of leaving the boy child behind. So in terms of sustainability, I think continuous collaboration with different partners, and I think we are on the right path, working with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, because this is also contributing to the digital transformation roadmap.
Right.
Yeah, digital skilling is key, and issues to do with data protection and privacy have been mentioned in there, as well as cyber security. So we believe that while we are on the road to ensure that we achieve the digital agenda, yes, these are some of the collective efforts that will make us achieve those goals. Yeah.
All right, Shirley and Councillor Peninah, thank you so much for the efforts that you're putting in to ensure that there is an enabling environment for digital rights for girls and women in Uganda. This brings us to the end of Morning at NTV. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.